Welcome to Mindfully with Tumishe, the podcast that invites you to explore mental health with honesty, compassion, and openness. Each week, your host, Tumishe Oladapokuku, shares personal stories and stories from people like you. Together, we'll confront mental health myths and build a space where imperfection isn't feared but embraced. From self-esteem struggles to relational conflicts, we're here to discuss it all with guidance from experts and real raw stories that inspire healing. It's time to live mindfully. It's time to be compassionate with ourselves and each other. Mindfully with Tumishe, new episodes every week, available wherever you listen to podcasts or at blackimages.com.
Okay, so you heard the breath there. I'm trying very hard to start this conversation as normally as possible, but somehow I don't know if it's going to be that normal, because if you have followed Mindfully with Tumishe long enough, you know that most of the people that I call guests are people that I have collected on my journey to being, no pun intended. And this conversation I'm having with this guy today, I'm sure another thing you have noticed is I have a lot of male friends. All right, so imagine a story where both hearts carry different kinds of weight, where support is mutual and vulnerability isn't one-sided. My guest today is Dairo. He's an advocate, a creative mind, a thought leader, and a man living with a special ability. But today, he's not here to just share his story, because I'm sure a lot of people know the story. He reached out to me so I think when I came back from the long break that I took on Mindful with Tumishe, he reached out to me and said, Tumishe, I think I want us to collaborate on this. I'm like, huh? How? And he went, my wife thrives living with the bipolar disorder. To be honest, I was like, huh? And this is me who lives with bipolar affective disorder. And I'm like, okay. And my head begins to spin. And of course, there's an inside joke that I can't share here. Yeah, but it's a conversation about grace, about resilience, about dual vulnerability. As I said, it is about choosing to love even when life presents limitation. Dari.
Thank you, Tumishe. Well, where do I really start from? I don't know. This thing about you having a lot of male friends. You forgot that you were almost one yourself. You were a tomboy.
I don't understand.
You were a tomboy.
You see, this is why I should stop bringing people when they meet to the show.
We know. I know me today. No. Way back from Ife, eh? Mm-hmm. You were a tomboy. You've been, maybe childbearing had dealt a little bit. With a little bit part of that,
Are you
but
sure?
It's still there.
You'll have to ask my children, and they'll tell you whether it has dealt with me or not. No,
it's still there. The tomboy thing is still there.
I'm human. That's all I can say.
Good. It's all good.
The first time I saw you was now you say Ife. Did I ever know you in Ife?
Incidentally, knowing you in Ife was like I never knew you because we never talk.
Because I can't remember. I don't have a memory of Ife.
It was after we met in
Eco FM.
That you were even the one that pricked my memory. I was able to now remember snippets. because of one or two of the people that you mentioned that were your friend then.
Right.
So that was why I was able to have some snippets of memory.
All right.
Of way back then.
Gotcha.
And there's no way you could have gone to Ife and especially in that department,
English.
There's a thing about it there. I don't know if it's still like that. You will always find one way or the other to coalesce with your, there was the department.
The Aveless?
Aveless, that was Aveless. There was this news agency.
Oh, sorry. So I was very disconnected in school.
Okay.
Completely disconnected. Aveless is because, Aveless is Aveless. You didn't have a choice. But I know I know the newspaper you're talking about.
Yes.
But
I was disconnected too because I was never part of any of those. I
completely disconnected.
I charted my own path.
What year did you finish?
I finished 96. I came into Ife 96, and that was another whole kettle of fish. And I spent 8 years in Ife.
Almost all of us are at that time.
You understand, you know? So I came in 94, I left 2004.
You left with me?
I left 2004.
I left in 2004.
I came in 96, I left 2004. That's 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. I left 2000. I came in 99. I came in 99. I finished in 2004. Yeah.
Yeah. So but a lot of people were confused. Was I in philosophy
or in
was
English?
I in theater arts or English? Because from day one I knew I'm not the type that was gonna write application for a job, and I knew this certificate was not gonna feed me. I actually wanted to learn to expand my mind, so I took a lot of courses in philosophy, logic.
So what did you study?
English. So
okay,
I did a lot. I took a lot of courses in philosophy and theater arts. So I did a lot of. I did logic. I did African sociopolitical philosophy. I did a whole lot of things. Then I just wanted to expand my mind and explore. I even did a paid diploma in French.
Really?
Yeah, when I was in Ife. So, I mean, I made the best of those 8 years of Ife. And
okay, so I think I only did logic and philosophy.
I did logic all my year.
It was only in part one. I was more comfortable with dramatic arts, and that it was in dramatic arts that we had radio courses and TV courses. So true. So because I was already an intern, with radio with MITV and then Eco FM at the time, it was easier for me to just pitch my tent with dramatic arts the only other language, you had to take another language. You took French, I took Yoruba.
I took French.
I took Yoruba, and I didn't finish taking Yoruba anyways. I think I stopped taking Yoruba in part 2 or part 3. So, we have given. I was going to reel out like this thing about Dairo and all of that, but I do not think that we should go into that. Let's just get into the conversation,
please.
What is please? I don't understand. All right. Welcome to Mind Fluency, Michelle, and thank you for reaching out to me. That conversation, when you reached out to me, I said, okay, I wanted this conversation to be about you and not from my own lenses as a person who's also, I love the word that you use, thriving with bipolar. So, but let's begin with you. Tell me, and by extension, anyone who listens to this, something you wish people understood better about you outside of Dairo, the person who is preaching inclusivity and is living with a special ability. What is that one thing that you wish people understood about you outside of how you are seen?
Thank you very much. That's a big one.
That just sounded so radio. But go
one.
ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. But first, as a inclusion advocate, as a person, as a polio survivor myself, I'm living with child. I'm a survivor of childhood polio. You know, it's something that hardly shaped my awareness of myself. You know, it's a social awakening that, you know, as I grow, like I got to become aware of it. I was shielded. I was shielded. My childhood was shielded because, you know, I had that love and understanding. I mean, my senior sister, one of my senior siblings, had to shift to afternoon school so that she could take me for therapy at orthopedic hospital every morning.
Wow.
So how lucky can you get?
So you didn't even know that something was wrong.
You understand?
Yeah, you didn't see it as something.
No.
Okay,
You know,
I gotcha. Yeah.
And I've never attended any school for people with disability. I went to the regular schools, and in my right from my primary, secondary school days, I had these wonderful friends that we were competing for everything together.
Yeah.
You understand? And those were the early days. Those are wild.
So you were jumping fences. So you didn't see it.
I practically actually did.
So you didn't see the disability until you were older.
Today, some of my friends still call me for one night for calling myself a person with disability.
Really?
Yeah, they call me for one night. You say, Dairo, you are calling yourself disabled. Do people know the things we used to do together way back then in secondary school? You are not disabled because we jumped fences together. We did all the things together. I was the one helping them to write the love letters. That was where I discovered my writing skill.
That I can believe.
Oh, why?
Yeah. Yes. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, anyway, and you know, we compete. The competition was stiff. You know, I read about 46 titles of James Hadley Chase, about 26 Hal Robbins. So we compete about these things. You know, I mean, my wife saw the list somewhere some time ago and was like, "What?" You know. So those were the kind of environment I grew up in. The only thing we don't compete, I don't rate them. You understand? Beyond that, you do
every other thing.
Nowadays, we'll jump fence. My prosthetics, my calipers will fold. I will bring it up. So, I mean, there was one particular one, like very, very bad chap like that. He'll be the one to come find stone and beat it to strengthen it and all of that. So
it was easy. It's like there was no questioning it.
You understand? So the disability. The reality of disability only started to dawn on me after I left the university. You know, a little bit of it when I was in university, but even in university, because I did literature, you know, and in my set, 96 set, we were like more than 300, but only 15 were literature. Only 50. So we felt like a special clique.
You guys still feel so very special, but there's nothing special about literature, though.
Well, I give it good. I knew Guba. I highlight he's late now.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
You know. So what am I saying? All of that shaped my reality away from that fatalist.
Gotcha.
You understand that PT thing about disability? I never saw it. It was after I left the university and my first experience of the reality. So now I can now looking back, I realized that was a privilege. I had a privileged upbringing. Privilege not by virtue of money, status, and all of that.
Love and care and understanding and inclusion. Yeah,
that inclusion was I lived it naturally all through my life, you know.
Gotcha.
So with that background, my thinking and approach to disability advocacy will only just but be different, So, with that in mind, I am more interested in the human in us. You understand? Enhancing the humanity in us all, that bridges across social, ethnic, environmental, and of course, disability being one of them. So with that in mind, the kind of things empowerment I think of is the one that focus that enhance the person. You understand, not just the circumstance. You understand. So a lot of people don't understand that, and how that reflects in me. The way I've brought
I'm trying to remember the name of your program on
Realms of Freedom.
Realms of Freedom. You see, I was hearing the realms. I was not hearing the field. So is that what
was Realms?
Yeah, Realms. Was that is this thought process how you grew up? Was that what birthed Realms of Freedom?
Realms of Freedom. Realms was just a program I met on Echo FM when I came in, and it's just about eclectic songs.
Okay.
It's program designed
Did I produce that for a bit?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
For some years, you did. My first producer was
No.
Not. He's in abroad now.
Papa T.
Before Papa T.
Latex.
No.
It's not Latex. It's not Papa T. It's not me or Jekmili.
God, I'm seeing his face right now. Yeah.
Bukola?
No.
When you remember.
Anyway, so, and we formed a bond, and he's...
Akanyedu. It has to be Akanyedu.
Yeah. And Akanyedu is not your regular guy.
Yeah.
He's another crazy guy, And, now look at the personality of someone like Ayedu, for example. Ayedu took me on. He didn't took me on like a regular rookie and all of that. And he demystified it for me. But he was very disciplined. He was like, okay, do your scripts.
But in fact, let me not drag Akin because I know he's going to listen. Because Akin used to relieve me late, and he would do it on purpose just to get me to be angry because he knew I hated it.
Yeah.
But he's such a sweet soul. He's a sweetheart.
And another thing about Akin is Akin is a jack of so many things. Akin was a hustler. He was doing business. He was selling cars.
He's still a hustler.
Oh God!
He's still a
Man,
hustler.
they should bottle that guy's brain and sell it.
Yeah. So
that influence also that brought me into radio, and it energized me to see radio like another platform where I can really explore, which I did. So you can see the trajectory. I've always been in an environment freely competitive.
An enabling environment.
You understand? Enabling environment, freely competitive without being, And one thing also my mom put in me is, Ayo bodo tibi asho moshelara mi.
Say it again. I want to
Ayo bodo tibi asho moshelara mi.
Like Ishe. Okay, I thought I heard Ishe.
You understand? Even if you're going through the worst of poverty, it must not show on you.
Okay, so I'm going to try to transliterate that because I have a handful of non-Yorubas and people who are not Nigerians or Africans listening to this. Ayo bodo tibi Ishe.
Tibi asho moshelara mi.
It loosely translates to no one should see how poor I am by the way I look.
Yeah. You understand? And that is also a cultural too. Abijebu.
Goodness. No, so let's explore that for a bit.
Sometimes clarity comes in silence. Other times, it takes a gentle nudge, a conversation, a question, or a pause you didn't know you needed. That's what BHM coaching at Black Images offers. Not a fix, not a formula, but a space one where your story is safe and your growth doesn't have to look like anyone else's. You can begin with a free discovery session. Just 30 minutes to breathe, reflect, and maybe, if you're up for it, sit with guided meditation. If life feels loud and you need support now, there's mindful coaching on the go. Short, focused check-ins that help you stay grounded when things feel shaky. For deeper shifts, there's the Journey to Being, a mindful exploration shaped by the framework from the book Living Mindfully, A Journey to Being. This isn't about perfection. It's about presence. And if you're someone who needs steady hands over time, the monthly and community plans are there, offering consistent support that grows with you. Visit blackimages.com when you're ready, not to be fixed, but to be seen.
That shaped your perception, didn't it?
It's shaped a lot. As in, like, you must not look like whatever you're going through. Don't wear your sorrow. Don't wear your problem. You understand? And it helped me to differentiate between my circumstance and where I'm going, what I want, right? Look, just yesterday, I sent some pictures to my wife. She said, hello, what is all this? I said, I went window shopping. You understand? So, if you give me 20 billion today, I have a list of things I could do with that. If you give me 10,000 naira today,
you already know what's going to
happen.
happen.
A list. You understand? I window shop a lot, even though I don't have 1 naira in my account. You understand? So you must always be guided by where you are going, not
where you are.
Where you
are.
are.
My goodness.
Yes, the big picture as it were.
Yeah.
So these were part of the things that shaped me. I mean, 8 years in Ife for a 4-year course. How did I live that through? How did I live through those dark days?
Time,
You understand?
Gotcha.
And I've gone through a whole lot after that. Even till now, presently. You understand? I mean, I'm going through a lot. But I didn't allow it to break me, to get into me, So that's just one thing about Dairo. That upbringing, I have an upbringing, and my journey has been shaped by things that challenge me to think beyond the immediate of the situation. But you see, for every choice, there is a prize, right? It means to some people, when people can easily stick things on you. Because when you don't fit into the boxes, people
that they have
tried to put you in, they want to cut you, they want to punish you for that, they want to deal with you for that, So, but in spite of all of that, I am one person that I believe in the near infinite nature of the human capacity of the human mind. You understand? We are little gods in ourselves. If God created us in our image, there's so much power He has infused in us. So it's because of everybody what you're using that power to achieve. But for me, no matter my limitation, I choose to allow it to expand my capacity to create, even in my mind, even if only in my mind, and then work towards it.
All right. So we're going to get to the base, the meat of this conversation in a moment. Before meeting your wife, what were your thoughts about emotional and mental health?
I would say nada. Zilch. Right? I was dealing enough with
you're dealing with disability enough. So mental health was not even
doesn't come into the radar. And it's about that time there was a bit of a pressure that, look, you're not getting younger, do something. And Well, ironically, you will think that because I'm a person with disability, I had limited options. No,
I know.
I had plenty. You understand?
Let's not even go there. Let's not go there.
Let's not go
because
there.
we will just be opening people's mouth.
You know.
Yeah.
So I had to get spiritual about it, and the way she came, there was no doubt about it that okay, this is what God wants. And the first day we were gonna talk, it was just I gave her a ride, about 5 minutes from Secretariat Mosque, where Secretariat, back to Eco FM. That's less than 5 minutes, And as she was getting down, I gave her my card, and I like, you know what? You look like somebody I would like to be the mother of my children.
Wow.
And he looked at me like, Shemani, you line on somebody.
Series. Yeah,
you understand?
Yeah.
And that's how dead sure I was then. This is it. And then less than a year we were married. I was born on Friday. She was born on Friday. We met on a Friday. So we wanted to get married on a Friday. But somehow we had to shift it. We had made all the plans for Friday until pressure came externally and all that. So we have to only take the Friday after that. And guess what? Uncle Lou till today, he always called me Valentine husband. So that Saturday happened to be a Valentine's Day. So we got married on a Valentine's Day.
Oh,
you're
such a romantic.
Oh well,
you're such a romantic. But a lot of people don't know. I thought you were going to say when I asked that question. A lot of people don't know about. And if you're asking me how I know that he was such a romantic, we're such good friends,
yes.
And way beyond me being a producer of Realms of Freedom, we would have conversations. We would talk over books. We would talk over poems. Late nights and in my 12. Okay, don't think my 12. Don't think my 12 is my 12 market.
No.
So my 12
was... you only take somebody in QFM to know what my 12 is.
And then we'll sit down just and we had a lot of conversations in those places in my 12. So now let's talk about your wife now. You how did you come to learn that she lived with bipolar disorder?
The first time, the first time it happened was she had a crisis.
Okay.
Something triggered the crisis. And, but before then, I had been seeing whims of the likelihood because of heredity.
Yeah.
But then I just was dead sure that this is it. And one thing also for me was the fact that, she didn't marry me out of pity.
Life moves fast, sometimes too fast. If you're looking to slow down and reconnect with yourself, Living Mindfully, A Journey to Being by Oluwatomise Oladapo Kuku might be what you need. It's part memoir, part guide. An honest, deeply personal story about navigating life's noise with intention. Oluwatomise shares lessons from her own journey through struggle, reflection, and healing, with a voice that's equal parts vulnerable and wise.
It felt like she was speaking directly to me, raw, real, and quietly powerful.
Get your copy wherever books are sold, or visit blackimages.com to begin your journey. Living Mindfully, A Journey to Being. Slow down, breathe, begin.
You'll be amazed the kind of conversations we have between ourselves sometimes in the house. Sometimes I'll be asking her to do something, now she'll be like, what? Why you like by me? And I'll like, no, you don't. Yeah. And she'll be like,
Oh, wow. Oh, so sweet. Okay, so let me help those who don't understand. So he's talking about him and his wife having conversations around his disability and actually making jokes about it. And the one that made me laugh was he just said that his wife she's asking his wife to do something, and then his wife is saying, please free me, and then he goes like, but I'm lame, and like, excuse you.
I think the best way to put it, I'm crippled.
Yeah, I'm crippled. I didn't want to use
arrow is a bit derogatory.
Derogatory. That's right. Yeah. So
I mean, you see me as a cripple before you marry me, and you're like, no, don't use that on me. I didn't marry you out of pity, so that won't work. So we had that flow, and for me, when it happened, the first thing was like, okay, so this is it. It's part of the deal. A human being is just like an onion. We have layers and layers. I have a friend, he was my classmate. I knew him way back from Ife, and his mom. He told me about his mom's case. His mom is bipolar. So the thing never happened until they lost their sister. That was what triggered it. And after the first crisis, they treated, she was okay. So she relocated abroad, so she was in abroad. She was okay for years. So they thought, it's a forgotten thing and all of that. She was not even no longer on medication. So I think there was a family event or something. So she had to come to Nigeria.
Yeah.
And she got to Nigeria from the airport. She relapsed. She lapsed. So they have to take her on the next available flight back.
The abroad that she came from.
You understand?
So what was your own emotional response when your wife had, knowing that you knew there was family history? So when she had, of course, somehow you'd have thought that, well, this is me assuming that you'd have thought that, she should know how to manage it. So what was your first emotional, apart from, okay, we are in this together, you didn't understand the pity thing, what was your first emotional response when she had that first psychotic break?
I think my first emotional reaction was like, God, why this? You understand?
Like,
God, why this?
Another one? I'm dealing with one?
I don't know. I didn't see it like that, because it's like, you gave me this ball, so why put this mix in it? You understand? You gave me this cocktail or whatever. You understand? So why this? So but I stood my ground, because I was like, okay, after all, even me myself,
let me go, but I do
me you understand? So we'll deal with it. But at a point, it was overwhelming. It became overwhelming, when there were practically nobody left and right. And just at that last moment, that's why some people in your life, when you look at them and you see them, look at them in a certain way, they don't understand what is going through your mind. Some people are not just human. They are the hand of God in your life. You understand? So at that there was a particular day I was like, I'm done. I've had enough. I'm calling this quits. And somebody just came in then and he said, Dairo, go your girlfriend there, so okay, what's the problem? This, okay. And we moved on from there.
Did she see a psychiatrist?
That was a little issue, and that's I'll talk a little about it so that to also enlighten. You see, in marriage, the first thing that helped the first thing that helped me was the fact that I was prayerful as about the time I met her, because there were quite a number of people I had in mind then.
God.
So I had no doubt that, okay, this is God's choosing. And I also had the understanding that the fact that it is God's choosing does not mean it will be perfect.
Okay, so let me
That it will be perfect in the sense that it won't have, you're human.
Questions.
You understand?
Yeah. Okay, so let me help someone listening to this now, because I think that we've gotten to the point, or when I read or see social media posts and all of that, and the way we protect our mental health, we are saying that because you have faith, because you believe in God, or you have some form of religious inkling or leaning, or you can manifest, or other things, that then there is not supposed to be obstacles. No.
The thing is, they've been telling us a lot of wrong things about God, and it's been messing up people's brain. And don't forget that we are Africans. We're coming from we are a highly spiritual people. Our spiritual is functional. That's why sometimes we fall into a whole lot of superstition, right? Now, they've been telling us a whole lot of motivational nonsense about God. Look, there is volcano. It's violent. It's destructive. But even in that violence of that volcano, there's the sweetness and mercy of God manifesting. Planes crash, a whole generation of people and dreams go with it. God is still God. You understand? So that God is God does not mean
that there won't be challenges.
There won't be challenges. You understand? Those are, look.
Now, I want to capture this emotion, but
look at
it's separate.
Look at petroleum. Do you know the process that formed those
things? Yeah.
The archaeologist says that if the age of the world were to compress into a 12-month calendar, we humans came somewhere late in November. So from January to November, God was preparing the earth
for us.
Those process of preparation, a lot of things went into it. The petroleum we are enjoying, countries, nations are enjoying today, people, it is human, it is carbon from life existence that was captured over years that formed that we are now enjoying. You understand? So what happened? What is the fate of all those life, the dinosaurs, the people, I know that were extinct for us to enjoy today. So God is still God. Whatever challenge you're going through doesn't make God less of God.
Let me I wish I had told you to bring her, and then but I want you to, if you can, go back to that moment when she was diagnosed and you found out, and she had a crisis.
What happened was that we had a misunderstanding. There was it was a neighborhood thing. We had a community, and one other thing I would say is, in managing mental health, you must have a strong support network.
Yeah, true.
It starts from the family, immediate. Imagine you have a lifetime of having to take some drugs. So also you must have that's a strong support network of people. It could be faith-based network, it could be friends, could be whatever. So there was an issue, a little misunderstanding, and in my own usual response, deal with it. I can't be bothered about that. So in doing that, she felt betrayed. That I should have been a little bit more understanding, know the detail, and react differently.
How did you guys now navigate that?
So that was what triggered it.
Oh.
That was what triggered it. I just came in and I saw her. She was curled up in a fetal position, and I knew, okay,
Dairo, I've done this one.
This is different.
Okay, so of course we know that thriving is a choice, and I'm wondering why you chose, because we were talking and I said, oh, I know I live with bipolar, and you were like, I have a wife who's thriving. Why are you using that word? Well, both of us are language students, so
yeah, I said thriving because now she's a mental health advocate herself. She talks about it openly. She's mentoring a number of people and family on mental health. So she's thriving because at a point she was living in denial.
Oh yeah,
and that is dangerous. Denial is dangerous. But accepting it, the opposite of denial doesn't also make it easier either. Because that means you have to embrace the reality of having to take drugs every day and all of that. But you see, my wife could, but you must know the trigger points. You must know the red flags. When we talk, the first thing I want to know is, when did you go to bed last night? And when did you wake up?
My husband should be here. Is that okay? So now is that why do you guys ask us that question then?
No, because sleep is important.
Yes, sleep is.
My wife can complain about anything, but the moment she say I can't sleep,
tentacles come okay, what can we have?
What is sleep? You understand? You understand? So the first thing I want to know, okay, so what is happening?
You understand? Goodness.
So you must know the trigger point. You must, but most importantly, you must be there. I remember one of her rounds. Sometime I followed her to. We were using neuropsychiatric hospital, Arrow.
Okay.
No, we Abeokuta. And there was a lady. She was just staring at us, and we're always cantankerous bunch.
Both of you?
Both of us.
Okay.
Cantankerous in the sense that
always making fun, PTA, and
you
all
understand,
of that,
So the lady was just looking at us. At the point, she now came and met me, said, "Sir, I appreciate you." Said, "Madam, you're lucky." Lucky how? He said, she got married just 2 years ago. She had her first crisis shortly after marriage, and that was what broke the marriage. And there has never been anybody there for her. Even her parents find it hard to follow her to Arrow. You understand? I mean, like Arrow is just it's hospital now. It's just hospital.
If we start that conversation, we'll not go finish.
So the first thing, you must get enlightened. There is a whole lot of superstition and stigma around mental health. And I think that's even a bigger chunk of the problem. Because the moment you fall into that stigma and that superstition, you missed it. It's a wrong turn, and then we're spiritual people. We pray about it. I would do a lot of that. Hey, I'm a Muslim. If any Muslim out there, if you know what Ruqya is all about, Ruqya is Islamic way of exorcism.
Oh, deliverance.
You understand? I subscribe to all of that too. But you must know where spiritualism
stops and where medication can help.
Medication feeds it. Spirituality never stops, but medication should be part of it.
Okay.
You understand?
So I have a question. Again, I wish maybe there'll be another episode where she'll come, you'll be here, my husband will be here, and we'll all just have conversation. We'll be asking you to do the questions.
Nice.
That I think we should do that sometime soon.
That'll be nice.
So what have you discovered about love from being in this kind of emotionally fluent relationship? Because what you've just described is an emotionally fluent relationship.
Well, love is a hard nut
To crack.
You understand? Sometimes you have to be cruel to be kind, like they say.
Okay.
What do I mean by that?
Please.
You see, all those meals and booms and fake spirituality, all those wrong things they told us about God, that if it is of God, they must be perfect. No. We're not angels. You know, when God wanted perfection, He created angels. Those are the ones that are perfect because they don't have will. That's why judgment will not be visited on them. But as human, we have will. So, you understand? So, we make choices. Now, this thing called love, you know, first you must accept you as a human being. Are you complete? Are you perfect? No, you're not. So how come you think the other person is perfect? You know, because I love you, you love me, does not mean everything should perfectly fit. You understand? There's a rhythm. There's a frequency that has set into your personality and mind too. So to get those frequency to harmonize is not just gonna happen overnight. One or two things would have to give along the way. For example, well, I'm a neat freak. My wife is a bit of a clutter.
Yeah. Because that's the way our brain works.
She understand. She couldn't be bothered about all those details, why everywhere must be spick span and all of that.
Oh my God, there's so much already in my head. So let me help you. Let me just help you. There's so many things already in our head. Like, I was still thinking about it yesterday. That because when I was younger, you know, my space had to be a certain way. And if you remember in the FM too, you don't touch my CDs, don't touch my pen, you know, because I've put it there. So there's a lot going on in our heads already that we're trying very hard to make the compulsive part of our disorder to work for us and not against us. So yeah, I really couldn't be bothered if the place I was.
So that one of the way, I mean, just last weekend we had that conversation that if we had been living together 24/7, we would probably have broken up.
So you guys don't live together 24/7 now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
From day one.
Oh, all right.
Even before the crisis came up.
Oh, okay.
You understand? And another thing was that our frequencies, I burn like diesel, she burns like petrol.
It helped my non-chemical mind.
Diesel burns slow, but longer in terms of energy.
Okay.
But she can go from 0
to 1
to 100 in a moment.
Guys, she's bipolar.
You understand? So one moment. So that's why I'm a bit of the more of the rational type and all of that. And one moment she does things. I take time to get worked up, but once I'm worked up, I don't I'm worked. Thank you. So the next minute she say she's now joking. And now I'm now looking like the Alasheju. You understand? Okay, just this weekend, we went to Idumota together, right? And she went to do her thing. I have to wait for her to take her back. Now, Idumota now, Maro said, you can't stay. So, let me just go and turn and come back. That took me 3 hours.
Wow.
And she has an appointment, a class to take. We got to Idumota around 10. She has a class by 1. And around 11, we got to do around 1. She has a class by 1. So, just for me to go and turn. Okay, so while she was shouting, she was angry. Madam, she's Suru, calm down. What do we do now? Okay, you know what? Come and meet me at Central Mosque. So. Come and meet me there. Okay. She's not doing that. I've moved on. Okay, what's the next option?
Yeah.
You understand? Meanwhile, she's still angry. So me, I'm always like what's the next thing? But when she's stuck in that emotional part, she's stuck. So I had to go and take a detour, meet me at Adeniji. Okay, so we met at Adeniji eventually. So I was like, okay, Mabino, because I know what I went through, how much fuel I burned and all of that to take that detour to be there. And she still
upset.
She was crying. And guess what? A few minutes later, she was all smiles. Oh, come here, Mabino, and all that. And me, I was angry.
You were still upset that she didn't understand where you were coming from. Again, we're going to have that conversation where Bumi will be here, she'll be here, and four of us will just jomitoro.
I think it's good. I think it's
a conversation we should have.
It will demystify this whole thing about mental health, especially
among couples. I think we should have that conversation.
You understand? Mental health challenge shouldn't be a reason that couples should break up.
Oh my goodness, this conversation. I'm trying very hard for us to keep it within an hour so that we don't lose people. So if your love story, because you love books, if your love story was, and I know you love music. If you were going to pick a soundtrack to this dual vulnerability of what your family is, what will be the soundtrack?
Nice.
Which nice?
I can't deny that I love her, die.
Oh,
She be the woman of my life. Bros, no be lie.
Oh, I'm crying.
And incidentally, we share that song between us.
Oh, that's nice.
And and why I picked that song is because rough at the edges, sometimes it's down, sometimes it's hard, but hey, you must always find that connecting point. You understand? One, God has a purpose why you are here, why you are there. Two, you can both deal with this together. If God has brought you together for a reason, that you
have the strength to pull together.
And don't do away with your support network.
Okay. What's the small daily ritual that, since you say you guys don't stay together, what's that daily thing that fosters bonding between both of you?
We talk every morning.
Oh.
We talk every day, and I mean every day.
Do you think the distance helps the relationship stronger?
She's not comfortable with it, but sometimes she appreciates it. So we call, and every morning, she knows if you call my wife right now, she knows where I am. She knows what I'm doing. So we always have
that synergy.
So that's the daily routine that helps, and we how do I put it? We almost don't have any secrets.
That's nice.
Let me share something with you.
Please go ahead. I hope it's not X-rated.
No, it is.
Okay.
It isn't. There was a day way back. I was in the studio. I was receiving some messages. Somebody was a lady wanted to come and see me, and I can't remember who she was. Guess what?
What?
I called my wife. I mentioned the lady's name. I said, "Do you know this person?" And she told me, the lady you told me you met at Patutomi's birthday at Golden Gate Restaurant.
Okay.
She was one of the ushers that day. You understand? That's how much
how close you guys are.
You
share.
She has more of the photographic memory
than you.
Again,
like I said, this emotional fluency between the two. So I would hopefully this will be the last question I'm gonna ask you. Complete the sentence for me. I wish more people knew that love is
not supposed to be perfect. Perfection is not part of the mix in love. There are some things you can. Everybody had their own deal breaker, right? But once you have that understanding that he's not supposed to be perfect, I am not either. So how do you work around it? Of course, there are some basics, right? Loyalty,
trust, yeah, stuff like that. Yeah,
you understand? Loyalty, trust, those ones are important too. Mutual respect. So once you have those, there is nothing you cannot deal with. Nothing. Another thing as grievous or as important as those three is that spiritual compromise. When I say spiritual compromise, the Bible says, can two work together?
I agree.
You can be Christian, she can be Muslim. That's even not the issue. You understand? You see, when the way we accept all this Abrahamic religion is
let's not go there.
You understand?
Let's not leave it there.
You can be Christian, she can be Muslim, but spiritually you can both still be well aligned. There's only God and God. You understand?
God alone.
You don't let in anything. When you talk about evil or devil, you think it's one demon. Do you know, as small as envy, as small as greed, can open the door to a whole lot of evil.
So
beyond that, you don't share the same religion. You understand? People don't know this. They put so much emphasis on
wherever
you understand,
whomever you have chosen to connect with God with.
You understand?
Thank you so much, Dairo.
My pleasure.
Thank you. This conversation has done something to my heart. I'm sure that I feel seen, and I hope that those who are also living with some mental health question, ill health to be specific, know that you have a community with us. Sometimes we think that love is what we do for the other person, but what if it's also about what we allow in ourselves? What if most generous thing you could ever do is to let someone see your scars and still stay open? Listening to Dairo, I wish I could capture his expressions at some point when he was talking about his wife, when they found out, when she felt betrayed. I wish I could have captured that, but I felt right now it's just sacred. I'm so honored that you shared those expressions with me, and listening to you, and how you navigate the partnerships, the emotional fluency, the tendency, the tenderness, not tendency, from a place of many people, your vulnerability, hers, and how you guys joke and carrying on with it, and of course your final word that says you wish everybody knew that love was not meant to be perfect. Thank you so much. And isn't that all that we want? Yeah, someone to love us, to be chosen, to be the one, to be with the person that we chose, even when we feel unwell, to be loved, to feel safe enough to unravel and still be held. Oh my goodness. So you're listening today and you feel very heavy. I told you that this season we're going to be more certain, we're going to be more open, we're going to bleed and heal together. Whether you are the one with the label or the one holding someone's hands who has a label, please know that as Dairo and his wife has through Dairo's lenses right now, the dual vulnerability is no weakness. It's some kind of miracle, if I got that correctly.
Yeah.
It's some kind of miracle, and yes, it takes work, but the beauty, it's in the work. Thank you. I really, really like us. So let's do some emotional check-ins before we go. Remember that you can ask yourself or someone close to you, how are you? And you know that how are you is a code for how are you really, and create a space for this person to respond. And don't forget to journal, write your thoughts, offer support to yourself first, then you'll be able to offer to others. My name is Oluwatomise Oladapo Kuku. Love yourself, love your neighbor, love your country, above all of this, love God. He is the essence of your being. You can follow me on socials. Tumise has an N in it. TUNMISE. Mindfully with Tumise. Go to the website and you can send me a DM. And you can always leave a message. Just look at this link, the description of this episode. You just say, send us a text. Send us a text and we get to it. Thank you, Dairo, for coming.
Thank you. This is beautiful. I mean, amazing stuff you're doing here.
Thank you.
And I thank God for you. I thank God that self-discovery and that consistency. There's this thing about radio. If you're really a radio person, it doesn't leave you.
Never.
It doesn't leave you.
never really.
I've taken a sabbatical, but already I'm restless. I'm looking.
I can't imagine.
In my house already, I have a study. I have everything for the podcast already.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I just one or two things and I'm good to go. So this is something you're doing, and I thank God for your courage to be able to own that experience and heal. Not only heal from it, you own it and you're now using it. Because one of the greatest place the devil thrive is in ignorance
and secrecy
and
shame
and
guilt.
You understand? All of those things shouldn't have to be around mental health. It shouldn't have to be. It can be dealt with. And it's only that it's not the same way you just take antibiotics or syrup for your malaria and all that, because it's oftentimes more or less rooted in things,
stories
external,
of origin, hereditary and all that. Yeah.
Trauma, somebody died, somebody says something, even flash of light. You understand? So treating mental health is a holistic thing, so that's just the challenge about it. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank
It's
you
amazing.
very much.
God bless you.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to set up that meeting for 4 of us. We're going to have that recording and I'm going
That'll
to
be nice.
Yeah, thank you very much. And remember, as always, you're seen, you're loved, and you're never walking alone. Until next time, stay mindful.
This is Mindfully with Tumishe, brought to you by Black Images.